Skedaddle skedoodle, your character is now a noodle. Ah ha ha ha. Shit. Goddamn wizard, what do you mean by Hey, how's it going, kids and kiddos? So, I had a few videos in mind that I was gonna do, but after my speechy video blew up, I had a guy named Toastednoodle just kinda say, do me next, and I was like, okay, I'll do you next. So here we are, and now I'm gonna be talking about a guy named Toastednoodle, upon request. But just a quick PSA, you might hear some thunder and some rain. It is raining outside. I already promised myself I would record today, and stalling it out any longer would make me unable to post for this week. So you're gonna have to ignore that. Anyways, enough stalling, here we go. Toastednoodle was originally a Minecraft YouTuber. Then he kind of got into a phase where he wanted to tell stories. So he started poorly animating his videos. These are his words, not mine. And after about 2016, he found The Odd Ones Out, Jaden Animations, and thought he could probably do something along those lines. So he did. You can definitely see the inspiration he's taken from The Odd Ones Out and Jaden Animations, using a very simplistic art style as well as telling stories that every other animated storyteller seems to tell. Until he kind of breaks away from that, but that's later in this video. When it comes to editing, Toastednoodle's is pretty basic. A lot of the things he doesn't draw looks like they were copy-pasted onto the screen, and many of the transitions in his videos are pretty much cut to frame. He doesn't really use many backgrounds, and I can kind of see why considering that his characters are stick figures. But a lot of the props he uses are very simply drawn in black and white. When it comes to character designs, Toastednoodle just uses stick figures. He says his facial expressions are inspired by Adventure Time, and the hair outlines are kind of inspired by Eddsworld. He also says he was kind of inspired by Dick figures, but as a newcomer watching his channel, it looks like he was mostly inspired by Dick figures. I can sometimes see the inspiration of Adventure Time in his facial expressions, but overall his characters are way too simplistic for that to stand out. When it comes to animation, it's pretty simplistic, if he does decide to animate. He's pretty much starting how every other animated storyteller on YouTube starts out, using cut-to-frame animation and maybe 1 or 2 frames for something that's moving pretty fast. But at this point in time, I'd consider his videos a little bit more on the animatic side than I would the animation side. Okay, so while Toastednoodle's videos are pretty simplistic, I definitely wouldn't say they don't have any charm to them. Probably the biggest thing about Toastednoodle that I like is his comedic timing. Honestly, this is the bread and butter of his channel, and it obviously gets better as time goes on. Unlike most animators who kind of just tell a joke and have it fall flat, Toastednoodle knows how to build up to the joke and make it land at just the right spot where you can't help but laugh or at least smile a little bit.
Down and make a plan. We knew that they would probably destroy us if they attacked, so we devised a plan to find peace with them that one day. Philip would go up to the door and try to talk Ella out of an attack. I was going to go around the house and wait behind the fence and make sure they wouldn't try to go around the house and do some sneak attack kind of meme. If either of us witnessed a kind of attack, the code was caw caw. So we went up there and got in our places.
The personality in his videos are kind of like an awkward, charismatic guy. It doesn't seem as forced as some other YouTubers, and that's a good thing. Trying to sound as real as possible, as well as entertain a large audience, can be pretty hard, and I think he pulls it off pretty well. And while a lot of his earlier videos kind of meshed in with the other Storytime Animator videos in terms of topic, after his hiatus in September, his videos have started to break the mold a little bit. The videos like Tornado Busts and Gang War are a lot more interesting both title-wise and quality-wise when compared to things like Sweating, School Stories, Injuries. Overall, I give Toastednoodle a 5 out of 10. You definitely have the potential to become a good YouTuber, but there's a lot you need to do to improve yourself before you get there. There's also a few paths you can take to achieve this goal too. My first suggestion would be try to improve on your art. Using still frames is completely fine when telling your stories as long as they're appealing. You can look into using talk sprites with more depth and shading. And while you're using visuals to tell your story, use less frames but add more detail to them. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, so why not try to make those words count? Another thing you might be able to do is just try to animate your character a little bit more. Instead of having a more defined character and having a lot more detail, like every other storytime animator, why not just add a lot more movement to your visuals? Your characters are simple enough to where frame-by-frame animation shouldn't be that hard. If you take the time to add about 3 to 5 seconds of motion for your characters for each visual, you'll definitely stand out a lot more. People would end up preferring you over storytime animators who just use still frames for their visuals. And this will help you improve to become a better artist, a better animator, as well as grow your channel a lot faster. Another thing I want to suggest is add a little bit of background color to your main character when he's speaking. Something like Speechy's design is fine. Just a little bit of color that complements your character's yellow can really go a long way in making them pop out. And last but not least, try to create a more consistent upload schedule. Working YouTube's algorithm in your favor is the best way to grow as a channel, and uploading as frequently and consistently as possible will help your channel grow in that regard. If you can only upload once a month, that's okay. Just try to keep it on a date where you can stay consistent, like the first or the last day of every month. That way, you're still working YouTube's algorithm, just on a much smaller scale when compared to a weekly upload schedule. Anyways, my name is Staxlotl, and if you could, show those stick figures who's boss by nubbing that like button, and then use those newly acquired thumbs to smash that subscribe button. Thank you, and I hope you all have a good day.